In a land painted with twilight hues, where ancient trees whispered secrets to the breeze, nestled a cottage of comforting warmth. Inside, Elara, with a spirit as gentle as the evening mist, sat by a crackling hearth. The scent of chamomile tea mingled with the subtle fragrance of old books, creating a sanctuary from the world's gentle hum. Outside, the moon, a sliver of silver, began its slow ascent, casting long, contemplative shadows across the garden. Elara watched the flames dance, her thoughts as soft and meandering as the smoke curling up the chimney. It was a familiar quiet, a comforting peace that usually wrapped around her like her favorite woolen shawl. But tonight, a new note, delicate as a dewdrop, threaded its way through the usual symphony of silence. It was a faint, melodious hum, almost imperceptible, yet persistent. It seemed to emanate from an old, intricately carved wooden music box that sat on a dusty shelf, a cherished heirloom that had not stirred in generations. Its lid was closed, its mechanism long dormant, yet the hum persisted, a phantom melody. Elara tilted her head, listening intently, her brow furrowing with gentle curiosity. Could it be the wind playing a trick? Or was it something more, a soft whisper from the heart of the cottage itself? The hum, though still incredibly soft, grew subtly clearer, a silent call beckoning her closer. It was not a demand, nor an urgent plea, but a tender invitation, like a sigh carried on a warm breeze. Elara slowly rose from her armchair, her movements as unhurried as the settling dust motes in a sunbeam. She approached the old music box, her fingers tracing the faded patterns on its polished surface. The hum resonated against her fingertips, a vibration more felt than heard, like the memory of a long-forgotten lullaby stirring in the quiet corners of the mind. It felt like a secret meant just for her, a melody meant to be rediscovered. A sense of peaceful wonder settled over Elara. There was no fear, no apprehension, only a deep, abiding curiosity that pulled her gently forward. This was not an adventure of grand quests or daunting challenges, but a quiet journey of discovery, a path woven with threads of moonbeams and whispers. She felt a quiet certainty that the melody was not just a sound, but a message, a soft call to step beyond the familiar threshold of her cozy world. With a final, gentle glance at the sleeping fire, Elara reached for the cottage door, her heart light and expectant, ready to follow the faint musical hum into the hushed embrace of the moonlit night. As Elara stepped out, the familiar garden had transformed. The moon, now higher in the velvet sky, bathed everything in a soft silvery glow, turning ordinary bushes into shimmering sculptures and humble flowers into luminous jewels. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of night-blooming jasmine and damp earth. The hum, no longer confined within the cottage walls, now seemed to drift from the very heart of the garden, a gossamer thread pulling her deeper into its enchantment. Each leaf was outlined in silver, each dewdrop sparkled like a miniature star. It was a world both known and utterly new, seen through the gentle filter of night's quiet magic. She walked with careful, silent steps, unwilling to disturb the profound peace that enveloped everything. The path, usually a straightforward line to a berry patch, now seemed to weave and wind with a life of its own, guided by the almost imperceptible shifts in the hum's direction. She passed by a sleeping rosebush, its petals unfurling slightly in the cool air, and a patch of lavender, its fragrance intensified by the night. The garden seemed to breathe around her, a living, dreaming entity. The hum, led her past the familiar stone wall, through a small, ivy-covered archway she had not noticed before, which opened into a dense thicket of old trees. The boundary between her garden and the ancient wood blurred, inviting her further into the night's secrets. Beyond the archway, the world shifted again. She was now in a part of the wood Elara rarely ventured, where trees stood like ancient sentinels, their branches interwoven to form a high, natural canopy. Here, the moonlight dappled through the leaves in intricate patterns, creating a mosaic of silver and shadow. The hum grew slightly stronger, yet still remained tender, leading her deeper into the hushed embrace of the forest. The ground beneath her feet was carpeted with soft moss that glowed faintly, illuminating her path with a gentle inner light. Bioluminescent fungi clung to tree trunks, pulsing with a soft, ethereal luminescence like tiny sleeping lanterns. The path itself was less defined now, a subtle winding trail only discernible by the way the glowing moss seemed to concentrate, or how the hum intensified ever so slightly when she walked in the correct direction. This was not a challenge of strength, but of quiet observation and gentle trust. The leaves of the ancient trees, particularly a magnificent gnarled willow whose branches swept gracefully to the forest floor, seemed to whisper ancient lullabies in the breeze, a symphony of forgotten songs. Elara felt a deep sense of belonging, as if the forest itself had been waiting for her, ready to share its peaceful secrets. She listened, not just with her ears, but with her heart, allowing the quiet rhythm of the woods and the persistent hum to guide her. After what felt like a long, peaceful walk, the trees thinned and Elara stepped into a breathtaking clearing. Before her lay not a stream of water, but a slow-moving river of pure, liquid moonlight. It flowed without a sound, its surface rippling with silver light, reflecting the stars above as if they had fallen gently into its embrace. The hum, now quite distinct, clearly resonated from the other side, beckoning her across the luminous expanse. The river pulsed with a quiet magic, its ethereal current weaving patterns that seemed to dance with the breeze. There was no bridge of wood or stone, only the shimmering moonlight itself. Elara paused at the edge, her gaze following the soft flow. How was one to cross a river made of light? She noticed, scattered across the surface of the moon river, large, flat lily pads, each one glowing with its own inner luminosity. They were not connected, but drifted gently, like miniature islands. It was a subtle invitation to step, one by one, across these luminous stepping stones. With a deep breath, Elara carefully placed a foot onto the nearest lily pad. It held her weight with surprising stability, a gentle warmth emanating from its surface. Each step was deliberate, silent, a slow dance across the shimmering expanse, guided by the persistent hum and the unwavering glow of the lily pads. The air around her shimmered, filled with the scent of moon blossoms she could not see. Reaching the far bank, Elara found herself before a massive ancient oak tree, its trunk wider than her cottage, its branches reaching towards the moon like gnarled arms. Tucked within a hollow at its base, almost hidden by trailing moss and ferns, lay an enormous moon moth, its wings iridescent, shimmering with all the colors of a midnight rainbow. It was sleeping deeply, its gentle snores, a soft, rhythmic vibration that seemed to mingle with the hum she had been following. The moth's presence, though vast, was utterly peaceful, blocking the entrance to a small, hidden glade that seemed to glow faintly from within. It was clear this gentle giant was the guardian of the path ahead, but it was not a guardian to be awakened rudely. The hum seemed to emanate directly from the sleeping moth, as if it were dreaming the melody into existence. Elara instinctively knew that to pass she needed to offer something in return, not a physical gift, but a gentle understanding, a resonance. She recalled fragments of old lullabies her grandmother used to sing, melodies of peace and comfort that echoed in her memory. Softly, almost imperceptibly, Elara began to hum one of these ancient tunes, a melody of sleepy stars and whispering winds. Her voice was a gentle murmur, blending seamlessly with the moon moth's own dreaming hum. The moth stirred slightly, its antennae twitching, and then, with a slow, deliberate unfurling of one magnificent wing, it revealed a hidden passage, a curtain of moonlight drawing aside to invite her in. It was a passage won by kindness and a shared, quiet understanding. Beyond the moon moth's gentle wing lay a glade, unlike any Elara had ever imagined. It was a sanctuary of soft, shimmering light where the air itself seemed to sparkle. Tiny, ethereal creatures, no bigger than fireflies but with wings like spun moonlight, danced among delicate, luminous flora. These were the Dreamweavers, as Elara instinctively knew them, silently guiding her with the patterns they wove in the air, leaving trails of silver dust that dissolved into the quiet. They darted and swirled, their movements graceful as falling snowflakes, creating an ever-changing map of light that showed her the way forward. The hum was now a strong, clear, resonant melody, enveloping her entirely, a song of profound peace. The glade was alive with quiet wonders, trees whose leaves chimed like tiny bells in the invisible breeze, flowers that bloomed and folded with the rhythm of her breath, and pools of water so still they reflected the entire starry sky in their depths. The Dreamweavers led her to the very center of the glade, where the light seemed to gather and intensify, coalescing around a natural archway formed by two ancient moss-covered stones. Through this arch, the melody pulsed with an irresistible draw, promising the heart of her gentle quest. Elara felt a deep calm, a sense of rightness, as if every step of her journey had led her exactly where she was meant to be, to witness this quiet magic, to unravel this gentle mystery. Stepping through the archway, Elara found herself in a small, hushed alcove, dominated by a perfectly circular pond of astonishing clarity. The water was so still, so pure, that it seemed to absorb and reflect all the moonlight in the glade, creating a shimmering silver mirror. And there, floating serenely in the very center of the pond, upon a single, oversized lily pad that glowed with an inner light, rested an instrument of otherworldly beauty. It was a Stardust Lyre, crafted from what appeared to be polished moonstone and strung with threads of woven starlight. It was not the music box, not a lost item in the conventional sense, but the exquisite source of the melody that had called her forth. The lyre pulsed with a gentle, resonant light, and from its delicate strings emanated the hum, now a full, rich, exquisitely beautiful melody. It was a lullaby, ancient and profound, a song of deep comfort and universal peace, echoing through the quiet night. The breeze, ever so slight, seemed to gently pluck its strings, allowing the melody to unfurl into the air, a living, breathing sound that filled the alcove. This was the heart of the journey, the secret the music box had been trying to whisper, the truth the forest had guided her towards. The lyre song was not just music, it was the quiet breathing of the sleeping world, a harmonic vibration holding all things in gentle balance. Elara stood mesmerized, her heart swelling with an emotion she could not quite name, a mixture of awe, understanding, and profound peace. The melody washed over her, not just entering her ears, but resonating deep within her soul, awakening dormant memories of comfort and serenity. She realized then that the music box in her cottage had only held an echo, a fragment of this greater song, a whisper across the veil between the ordinary and the softly magical. The Stardust Lyre, however, held the complete, original melody, a lullaby for the earth, for the stars, for every living creature, and most profoundly for the quiet corners of the human heart. Slowly, drawn by an irresistible tenderness, Elara knelt by the water's edge. She extended a hand, her fingers trembling slightly, and gently touched the cool, smooth surface of the pond. As her fingertips met the water, a ripple of shimmering light spread outwards, carrying her touch to the Stardust Lyre. A soft, warm light enveloped her hand, and the melody intensified, no longer just a sound heard from afar, but a song she felt coursing through her veins. It was as if the lyre was playing directly for her, sharing its deepest secret, reminding her of an ancient truth. This was not about taking something, but about receiving, about remembering the peace that had always existed, waiting to be acknowledged. In that sacred moment, Elara understood. The journey had not been to retrieve a lost object, but to rediscover a lost sensation, a forgotten harmony within herself and the world around her. The Stardust Lyre was merely a conduit, a beautiful reminder that profound peace, like a gentle lullaby, was always present, woven into the fabric of existence. The melody now resonated not just from the lyre, but from within her own being, a soft, warm glow in her heart. She felt an undeniable connection to the quiet magic of the night, to the sleeping trees, to the shimmering moon river, and to the patient, dreaming moon moth. A sense of deep, quiet accomplishment settled upon her. Not the triumph of a grand adventure, but the serene fulfillment of a gentle understanding. The lyre pulsed one final, soft beam of light towards her, a silent acknowledgement of her presence and her newfound knowing. Elara knew she could not take the lyre, nor did she need to. The melody was now imprinted upon her spirit, a soothing balm that would guide her back to comfort whenever the world felt too loud or too fast. She felt utterly at peace, profoundly connected, and eternally grateful for the gentle hum that had called her into this beautiful, moonlit secret. With a final, loving glance at the Stardust Lyre, Elara turned to begin her journey home. The glade, though still radiant, now held a new kind of quietude, as if the secret had been shared and was now held in gentle trust. The dream weavers, with their tiny wings, still danced, but their patterns now seemed to guide her outwards, back towards the moon river. Each step she took felt lighter, imbued with the soft, resonant melody that continued to echo within her heart. The forest, on her return, felt less like a mysterious unknown and more like a beloved friend, its shadows softer, its whispers more familiar. She recrossed the luminous lily pads, their gentle warmth, a familiar comfort beneath her feet. The moon moth, still deep in its slumber, seemed to hum its own contented dreams, a gentle rhythm that now harmonized with the melody Elara carried. The path through the Whispering Willows wood was clear, the bioluminescent moss glowing with a steady, welcoming light. The familiar scent of night-blooming jasmine drifted from her garden as she approached, a sweet promise of home. The world around her, though unchanged in its physical form, now shimmered with an invisible layer of gentle magic, a peaceful enchantment she had helped awaken. Stepping back through the ivy-covered archway and into her moon-kissed garden, Elara felt a wave of profound comfort wash over her. Her little cottage, standing under the watchful eye of the moon, seemed to glow with an even warmer light than before, its windows like welcoming eyes. The air within was still fragrant with chamomile and wood smoke, a symphony of coziness. She re-entered, closing the door softly behind her, sealing in the nights, magic, and the gentle melody she now held. The old music box on the shelf was utterly silent, its hum having faded away entirely, its purpose beautifully fulfilled. It was no longer a call to adventure, but a quiet sentinel, a reminder of the journey taken and the harmony rediscovered. Elara walked over to her armchair, the soft wool blanket still draped over its back, and sank into its familiar embrace. The fire in the hearth had dwindled to a bed of glowing embers, casting a soft, flickering light across the room. Everything was just as she had left it, yet everything felt subtly different, imbued with a deeper sense of peace and belonging. Her home felt not just safe, but sacred, a vessel holding the echoes of her gentle, moonlit quest. Elara closed her eyes, and the Stardust Lyre's lullaby played clearly within her mind, a gentle, comforting melody that soothed every corner of her being. She felt the day's last tensions dissolve, replaced by a profound tranquility. The journey, though short in time, had woven a new tapestry of understanding into her spirit. She was no longer just Elara in her cottage. She was Elara, carrier of the worlds, quiet lullaby, guardian of a rediscovered harmony. The moon outside her window, now a full, radiant orb, shone directly onto her sleeping form, a silver blanket of protection and peace. With each slow, steady breath, she drifted deeper into sleep, carried on the soft currents of the melody. The stars outside twinkled knowingly, the trees whispered their contented secrets, and the entire world seemed to settle into a deeper, more peaceful slumber, cradled by the ancient song she had helped to remember. Elara slept soundly, her dreams as soft and luminous as the moonbeams that danced on her bedroom floor, her heart filled with the enduring warmth of the Stardust Lyre's gentle, universal lullaby. All was well. All was quiet. All was at peace.